Well, hello. Welcome back to KATalyst4Change. Happy New Year. Can you believe it is 2023? Where did the time go? It went by too fast. You know, it's so funny. With children going back to school, my oldest, who's in high school, he was a little sluggish on Monday morning of this week, and the kids had gone back last week. And I said, son, what's wrong? And he's like, Mom, we just had such a wonderful Christmas. He goes, it's a little hard for me to go back. And I said, you know what, buddy? I said, I think many of us feel that way. So if you feel that way, put that comment in there. Let me know. But getting 2023 up and going, it's going to be a firecracker of a year. But sometimes just in life, right, and even in doing faith-based work, it takes a little bit of time to get things going. But I can't be more excited today. I have a wonderful guest with me, and we are definitely moving on up because we've got microphones. Normally we are in a contouring position, which will make sense to you later, and we are laughing and giggling. So, Miss Makia, are you ready to do this?
I am as ready as I'm going to be.
Awesome, awesome. So, without further ado, I can't be more thrilled and blessed to have come into interaction with Makia. Makia owns her own business, Herlean Body Contouring, and she has blessed me to be able to put this belt on. Do you see it? Blessed me to be able to tuck my tummy in. Do you see it? But blessed me to have a mind space that's so much more than I ever could have imagined. So let me introduce Makia. So Makia, welcome to Catalyst4Change.
Thank you so much for having me. I am beyond excited to be here. I'm so excited to see this come to fruition.
Yes.
So excited.
It's been wonderful because in some of our sessions, when we've talked through walking in faith and walking in what God is having us to do, you said, just walk in it, sis.
Yep.
Go in it, sis.
Yeah.
And I can't be more excited that you're walking in it, sis.
Yes.
You're doing this, sis.
Yes.
So this is your time.
Yes. Yes. I can't contain it. I am even talking about coming today. Yes. It was hard to explain to my mom. Coming here because she's 84. Yeah. Podcast. Absolutely zero understanding of what podcast is.
Right.
But to tell her that what we were talking about, she got it.
Okay.
And to tell her how we talked about what this would be before it happened.
Yes.
And that I told you, just do it.
Yeah.
And your reaction was.
And
you're doing it.
Oh, thank you. I humbly say thank you. What Makia just mentioned is huge because a lot of times before we realize God's work, there is a prophecy or a sing or something in your gut that's telling you He has a plan for you. And sometimes you need that nudge from a sister friend, or you need that nudge from a coworker, or you need that nudge from that one person to say, continue going and continue doing it. And you have definitely helped me. In a short amount of time, you've made a really big impact on my life. So I want to say thank you first. I want to say thank you. And when we've talked about it with regard to Catalyst4Change and really breathing life into how God has transformed, and you have an amazing testimony that I would like to be quiet and give you time to share, if you're comfortable sharing your testimony with where you were at your previous career, your prayer and petition that included tears and it included uncertainty, but then you turned it over and where we are today.
Absolutely. So when this first came about, even the thought of Herlean Body Contouring wasn't even a thought. I didn't know anything about what I wanted to do. I just know I was miserable. Going to a corporate job that I loved what I did.
Right.
But the people didn't allow me to be me in terms of my faith. And I was being literally verbally abused every day. I would work, it was shift work, but you were salary. So you worked whatever was till the work got done.
Right.
But I would literally go to work an hour early, sit in the parking lot and cry for 30 to 45 minutes and then get it together because you never let them see you sweat.
Correct.
And when you are a leader,
yes,
you can't allow that to impact the people that depend on you.
Correct.
And you have to put on the face.
Yeah.
And not only the face, but you also have to, in the type of work I was doing,
okay,
I had to also put on the Spirit of God because
right.
they needed me for more than just me.
Right.
And so that also was a challenge for
okay.
me because I couldn't do when people wanted me to, can you pray for me?
Right.
We'd have to go and find a conference room that didn't have windows.
Wow.
Because we couldn't allow anybody to see us praying because
okay.
you're in a corporate environment.
Right.
And being verbally abused by, and I have to say this because I was so excited when I first got this new manager that I was going to get. She was a director. She was a black woman.
Okay.
She's the most brilliant mind I've ever come across.
Wow.
She was an attorney.
Okay.
Not only was she an attorney, but she also had a bachelor's degree in law and in math and science.
Okay.
So she's a brilliant mind.
Yes.
But very verbally abusive. And I thought that I would be able to come into someone that was going to mentor me, even though she was younger than me.
Right.
But with her experience and her knowledge, I was excited.
Right.
But it was literally the abuse that I would cry. I would come home. I'd tell my husband, babe, I just don't know what I'm going to do. I couldn't talk.
Right.
It was a 45-minute drive home, and I would ride in silence because I would need that time to be okay to come home.
Right.
To be the thermostat for my house. I couldn't bring that temperature home.
Wow.
Right.
Yes.
And so in doing so, I was also considerably overweight,
okay.
and was going to a girl that I ran across on Google. So to me, as I look back, everything was kind of laid out by God and how it kind of manifested itself as I've had time to reflect.
Okay.
Because I found her on Google.
Okay.
And really I was just looking for someone that could do my hair. Right? Because I had a lot of it, and I was like, ooh, somebody that knows how to do natural hair. It was really hard to find.
Correct.
So found her.
Okay.
At that time, it was wonderful. She knew God.
Okay.
It was an experience to be able to go, and I was relaxed, and we could talk about God.
Right.
She was also a bodybuilder.
Okay.
So she told me about this contouring that she was doing and showed us the pictures, and I was like, that's pretty cool.
Right.
Man, your girl don't like to exercise. So
I think she's talking to a lot of us on that one, right?
Don't like to exercise. And because I don't like to exercise, I was looking for anything to jumpstart me,
right.
to help me, because I needed to lose weight.
Okay.
But I hated exercise. And
right.
that came from going to college on a basketball scholarship. That's how I paid my way through school. So when I got finished, I was like, if I ain't got to, I ain't going to do it. Right?
Correct.
So she introduced me to the lady that certified me for body contouring.
Okay.
And in doing so, I was still working full time.
Okay.
Going to work early. And then I even told my boss, hey, I've started this new training. I want to get this certification because it's something outside of what I do.
Right.
It's for me. And she was all behind it as long as it didn't impact work.
Okay.
No problem. My schedule was 7 to 4. I'd go if I needed to come in at 5 because at that point I had transitioned into training. Right. So I was virtual. I was doing virtual trainings. I was doing a lot of traveling, on-the-job trainer, training different companies that they had bought to get them on board with our platform. So I was doing all of those things, writing, trainings, curriculum, all that, what I was doing. Right. Very comfortable doing it.
Okay.
But miserable in the workplace. And so in going into that, she told me, if you're going to do this, you might need to decide if this is really, what you want to do. I said, no problem. Lord, I can't stay here anymore.
Okay.
I had reached that point where I was like, I can't cry anymore. And when I decided, I'm going to put a timestamp on it. I'm going to go in. I was going to have a surgery.
Okay.
And then I just wasn't going to go back. Okay. That's what I told the Lord. Lord, I ain't going to do it. I'm going to fill out some FMLA paperwork. I'm going to tell him I'm coming back.
Right.
Lord, but I can't do this anymore. You'll figure it out for me.
Okay.
But I told him that.
And we know how it works when we tell God our plan.
Yes.
And he's like,
ha, joke's on you.
Yeah.
Ha,
yes.
ha. That was in 2019.
Okay.
So I decided, in my mind, before any of the world happened, this is how I know it was nothing but God.
Okay.
I had planned to have my surgery in March of 2020. It was scheduled.
Correct.
Like, it was in the books.
But you already had that in the books prior to everything happening in the world, prior to COVID and the shutdown. Because when you're saying March, that's when kids were going.
Yeah.
They were going on spring break, and unbeknownst to us, spring break was a never-ending 2-year spring break. So you already knew and had this prophecy prior to.
And I didn't know what it was. I was just like, I can't come back.
Correct. Because you were done.
Yeah, I was done.
Okay.
But I didn't know that I was making it about what I wanted. And it wasn't his time.
Okay.
So at the time, things were really bad at work.
Okay.
We got sent home because the world had shut down and they didn't know what was going on.
Right.
And within March, April, May, within 2 months, while I was at home working, she had no complaints about my work.
Okay.
We got along swimmingly. And then little things start to happen, right? Because then it was, we need to furlough people. We need to cut money. We need to do things.
Okay.
Then I became expendable, which for me, I was like, well, I was going to leave anyway. In my mind, I'm going to leave anyway. I don't care what you say. But then within 2 months, they had to lay me off.
Okay.
But God. And I say, but God, because I've never been unemployed. 50 years old, never been without a job or a steady income or anything. Right. And God said, move when I say move. Okay. And I had unemployment to pick me up.
Okay, I want you to repeat what you said. I don't know if you just caught that. She said, but God, in all these years, you had never not had. And how many of us, especially those on the other side of that camera, know COVID changed all of our lives. And a lot of individuals were in the predicament that you were in. And a lot of individuals had to figure things out. And as she's saying, and I don't want to take the words, I'm going to ask that you repeat it. You said, but God.
But God. What am I going to do?
Right.
I have never been without, and I've been working since I was 15.
Okay.
Never been without a steady check coming in that I could count on.
Right.
To base my living off of. Yeah. But God, if I had stepped out on me in March, 6 weeks.
Take us there.
6 weeks, right? And I decided I wasn't going back.
Okay.
What was I going to do? I didn't know.
No.
And I had just told God, you'll figure it out.
Right.
Because I was so distraught with going to work.
Yes.
And he said, hold on. I felt like that's what he said. Hold on, my child.
Okay.
Hold on, I got you.
Okay. I
was able to receive unemployment for months until they cut it off.
Okay.
For years. And at first I felt guilty because I was like, Lord, I don't ever collect unemployment. That's not what I do. I work. I went on interviews. I had just finished my surgery. I think I was 3 days post-surgery.
Okay.
Had an interview. Oh, yeah.
Did you say 3 days post-surgery?
3 days post-surgery.
And you went on an interview?
Yes, ma'am. And I got the second interview, did another one within 2 days. Within a week, they called me in, and I'm barely going in, but I pulled it together.
Right, as
and
we
do. And I
do.
even told them, I said, ew, I just had surgery, so if I'm a little, I couldn't even remember the interview because I was still 2 days post-surgery.
Correct.
Still taking medication.
Right.
In 2020, I will tell you that was the busiest year I've ever had. The busiest year I'd ever had.
Okay.
2019 when I started.
Okay.
I kind of segued my way in after they allowed everybody to kind of open up and start doing more things with salons, and that was kind of the area, the spa area, and that I was in. And he allowed me to see that if I trusted him, he would take care of it, and he has.
But that sounds, well, I'm going to just say for me, that word trust, because I am such the person who tries to be in control, right? I always try to do that big C, but that T that you just stated is huge.
Absolutely.
How did you trust in an uncertain time?
It was almost as if I didn't have a choice.
Okay.
I honestly felt as if I was backed into a corner.
Okay.
And the fight in me said, you got to get out.
Right.
I didn't have a choice. Okay. I actually consulted a lot of people. I talked to a lot of people. my pastor friends of mine
Right.
that had been to me for treatments before COVID happened.
Okay.
And they were like, no,
Right.
you're supposed to be doing this. And I was like, I don't know. Got a mortgage. I got
Right.
this. I got that. And even as I say trust,
Okay.
and you said something to me, or just now,
Right.
how did I?
Okay.
It's a do.
Ah.
That's
a aha.
Yeah, that is an active, living,
Okay.
breathing word. Trust. If I decided that my trust was past tense,
Right.
I couldn't keep going.
Right.
I could not push forward every single day. I could not go in
Right.
and give people me if I didn't trust him.
But that's trust when you had given God your time frame. That's trust when you were furloughed and laid off of a job, having not ever been out of a job. That's trust without having a written format of what's next. A lot of us live by that box, right? Or that check off, or it's going to be okay. And you're literally saying, Father, I trust you. And I think you just said it best. And I'm putting emphasis to those on the other side of that camera is when it seems desolate, when it seems like there's no tomorrow. Makia said, when you feel like your back is up against the wall, you've got to turn it over. You've got to say, I trust. You've got to give it to him in all of its shape, in all of its form. If you go back to the beginning when you were even just stating you cried and you went to work. Then you came home, and before you took that energy into your house, you had to sit and allow your body to change its state.
Yes, meditate.
Right.
And there were times, I think of the song, a lot of times I had to speak over myself just to get in the door, right? Because I was still heavy.
Right.
So I'd have to, you got it. Basically, I lied to myself a lot. Okay. You're fine. You can do it.
Right.
And
right.
you're all right.
Right.
When inside I felt like I was dying. And he didn't let that happen.
No.
But what I've learned, and this is a living thing for me, that as I talk to you, the trust thing.
Okay.
Because it doesn't stop. I didn't know how to be a business owner.
Right.
Had never done that before. I don't care how many books you read.
Right.
Nobody tells you that there are ebbs and flows. Nobody tells you
Correct.
that COVID is
Right.
going to happen, and
Right.
that the times will change. People will go. We didn't know. It was so uncertain.
Right.
So for me to still be doing this, I know it's God.
Correct.
He has sustained us in more ways than I could even. Girl, it would take us about days to go through the stuff that he has sustained me through in a year.
Okay, so she just plugged the fact that she's coming back. Did you hear it? I heard it. Did you hear that she said she's coming back? Be my witness. So if she tries to renege, in other words, say that she's not going to, that means there will be a follow-up to today's conversation because she will be back. Because I want to continue to watch and continue to be a part. And it's amazing that when our paths cross, the place I was in the place a lot of us get into when you are trying to figure things out, but you're not healthy from the inside out. You mentioned before that you had to not be honest with yourself. I think I was eating and not being honest with myself and what I was eating, and my waistline was going one way, my hairline was going backwards the other way, right? I mean, all things were not working together for the good. And when I met Makia, it was at a time for her to share her testimony that just, it hit me with the force so strong. A lot of the sessions and when I come in for contouring, it's not even about the contouring. It's about what she's sharing with me. It's about her being transparent and honest about what God has brought her through. So I'm saying if he can bring her through, guess what? He can bring me through and he can bring you through. So fast forward to where we are today and where we are now. We've got individuals watching this and they're trying to figure out, how do they come see you? How do they talk to you?
They can come see me by visiting us at HerleneBodyContouring.com.
Okay.
We are Herlene Body on Facebook and Instagram.
Okay.
But go to the website.
Okay.
And send me a message. I'll get the emails there, or you can always call.
Okay.
The one thing I want to say to make sure that people understand that you brought up, the surrender.
Here we go. That Makia, and this is what she does to me. See, I feel I'm coming in to smooth out that hip or the place below my belly, but you see how she slid that in there? So
but I have to say that in part of my giving up to him, though,
yes,
it was when I told him,
okay,
I don't want to get nothing out of this. If you can use me to touch one person every day that they come in, and to allow them to see you through me, I felt like I've had a good day.
I want you to pause on what she said. Did she say, no, I'm not, because I have this time, and I'm screaming on the inside. For those of you who know me, this is one of those moments where I'm literally screaming. But you can't hear it on how amazing and selfless you were and you are, and you did in a time where many of us would think of self. I would. I'm going to be honest. I would have said, Lord, which I've done now, how am I going to do that? How is it going to happen? And you said, let your light shine through me. And that piece of surrender, I know if my son has a hard time surrendering a chicken nugget out of a 20-pack, it is hard for a lot of us to surrender when it comes to those things we hold on to, right? Like the grocery basket. You put the groceries in and you take the groceries out, but then you're like, it's okay, I'll get some extra steps in. So then you put the extra bag of chips in. No, you should left those chips out.
Hello.
Okay, I'm talking to you. To me. No, that's what's amazing about you, and I think that's why I'm so thankful to have met you. Blessed for the transformation on the outside, but also the transformation on the inside. When we previously talked, so I did want this to be something, because I like to give a script, but today I'm going to ask Makia to share in your time frame, what Bible verse do you turn to or hold to, as we've talked about our toolkit that cost us nothing, that when we hit those tough spots, what Bible verse do you go to routinely?
Absolutely, which probably is for a lot of people, Jeremiah 29:11, for I know the plans I have for you, to prosper you, not to harm you. The other one that always reigns is that faith is the evidence of things hoped for.
Hebrews.
Yes.
Book of Hebrews.
That it is. So faith is right now. And I have to always remind myself that something I just read recently.
Okay.
My antidote to worry is worship.
Okay, hold on. I don't know if you heard it. I don't know if you heard it. Did you all hear it back there? I don't know if you heard it. Please say that piece again. You can lean forward, like say that piece.
Yeah.
We're going to. Okay, we're going to say it. Okay.
Say it for the people in the back.
For the people in the back, for the people in the front. You better have fun when you're doing stuff. So let me tell you something. If you're like Sharika, what is going on? You better have fun or you're not in the right thing, okay?
Hello.
Yes. But say that piece.
I read something recently.
Okay.
And because my spirit had been so heavy, I told you, my spirit was really, really heavy.
Yes.
Because life, right?
Right.
And it's a bunch, but the short of it is the antidote to worry is worship.
The antidote to worry is worship. I'm going to say it 3 times, power of 3. The antidote to worry is worship. And we'll say it one more time. The antidote to worry is worship. And you mentioned before faith. And you said with regard to faith and action, can you state that again?
Faith is living, breathing.
Okay.
It's an action word. It's not something that you can say, I used to have faith.
Right.
Or I used to trust.
Okay.
It's right now.
Right.
just to tie it together, study says we spend 70 to 80% of our days thinking about what happened in the past or what's in the future. And only 20 to 30% about what's right now.
Gosh.
But if we are constantly in a state of worship, we don't have time to worry.
You don't.
So the antidote, whenever you're feeling worry, because he said to worry not, cast your cares upon him.
Correct.
And he will give you rest. If we are in a state of worship, we don't even have time.
No.
Because I'm too busy. I just read something this morning that said, did you really worship God today? Ooh. Did you? And saying you read your scripture, saying you did something nice, that's not dedicating to him.
Right.
Praising him. God, you are awesome. God, you are amazing.
Yes.
God, you are wonderful.
Yes.
That's what he's looking for. So if I'm spending my time doing that, I don't have time to worry about when my next client is coming.
You sure
I don't have time to worry about, oh, Lord, I don't have nobody on the books right now.
Right.
I don't have time for that.
No.
If I am worshiping him, he's going to make sure that part is taken care of because I've given this business to him. It's all him.
Yes.
If it fails, it ain't on me.
Right. I like that part. Yes.
Because he's not a man that can lie.
No.
And he's also, I had another one of my clients who's a pastor. She said, he ain't no Indian giver.
No. Correct. No.
He won't give you something and take it away.
Correct.
So I just have to trust living every day.
Correct.
God is for you. If the mortgage don't get paid, God, that's on you. Right? Because I'm trusting in you to do that part. And that's the physical aspect of what he can do for you. That's how he shows up for us. To show us those are the things that he can do.
Right.
Because that's what we see.
Okay.
The insurance. That's something he can show you.
Right.
But what about what he can't show you? That's what he wants us to have faith in him for.
Very much so.
Those things that we cannot see.
Right.
But he shows us in what we can see, just so that he can show you, I told you.
That's right. That's right.
So faith is living. It's breathing. It is an action. Every day you walk in faith.
Yes, you do. You're walking in faith. Right. You walk in faith and not by sight. And you're standing on it. And you have to know. And your knowing comes when you're spending that time with him. And that time is the time that we put in thumbing through social media, maybe even how you found me, right? So I don't want you to stop subscribing. I'm not saying that.
Click the notification bell.
That's right.
Sorry. I'm back.
No.
Okay, I'm back.
But what I do want you to do is I do want you to hear what's being said. I do want you to know that, as Makia said, God is for all of us. I do want you to know that what he's placed before you, no one can take from you. I do want you to know he is ever present and he's ever here. And I know the one question everyone is asking, and I'm going to switch gears on you real quickly, is the contouring, and I know the answer to this question, but I'm not going to, I know the answer. I'm going to ask the question, but I know the answer. Yes. Can you talk about the contouring? Do you have to have any needles, injections? Is it going to hurt? Is the process long and arduous? Does it take time? Like, can you actually explain a little bit about the process so people can understand what contouring is?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So there are all kinds of new technology that's out now for how to address and target fat in certain areas.
Okay.
What we do is we use ultrasonic vibrations.
Okay.
Anyone that's had an ultrasound on any part of their body at any point knows that they use radio frequencies in order to display a picture.
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
So we use it in the same way, except we use it to penetrate the fat. Fat's solid, we want to break it down.
Okay.
What makes this treatment so wonderful is that you don't have to do anything as the client that's coming to see me.
Okay.
All you have to do is figure out a way how to get it out, because I'm going to break it up.
Okay.
Normally what happens when you lose weight, you get the loose, saggy skin. Well, the second part of the treatment process is using radio frequencies and LED lighting in order to tighten the skin as we go. Okay. So that's the contouring part. So we're breaking the fat apart.
Okay.
We're going to contour it, and we're also going to move it towards your lymphatic system. Your lymphatic system is where you're going to use your urine in order to release the fat through your sweat.
Okay.
Any way that you can release is the way that you're going to get rid of the fat in which we've treated.
Right.
And then the liposuction part of it that you've heard people talk about is really where we use like a cupping technology. And that is used kind of what I like to call as a finisher, a buffer, right? So we're going to smooth out any cellulite dimples. We're going to smooth out stretch marks to give you a polished look. each treatment session that you come in, we're treating a new layer of fat. So, as you leave, even after your first treatment session, which you can attest, you can tell the difference. Why? Because we've at least softened up the fat to give you an opportunity to release it before you come in.
Yes.
We don't put anything in your body.
Okay.
But what we do is we treat the outside.
Right.
We treat the inside from the outside to penetrate through to get the fat out of you. Now, it is only for a targeted area.
Okay.
As you know, I tell people all the time, when you come in, don't come in expecting to lose weight.
Right.
But what you can do is expect that whatever area we target, that area is going to lose the fat.
Correct.
Is it painful? That's subjective. And I say that because I'm ticklish. So the treatment for me is like a 21st century form of torture because I'm so ticklish.
Okay.
But other than that, the most you can ever feel in terms of pain would maybe be if you did stomach crunches, if I'm doing your abs.
Okay.
And that's more from the pressure that we apply than it is from actually the treatment itself. You see results within, I say 3 sessions, but definitely after the first session, you can tell your body is starting to change.
Nice. Nice. And I can attest to, I began working back in August, and it's now January. And in that amount of time, I can see the difference in how jackets feel, how pants zip up, the comfortableness in undergarments. Was it painful? And I'm a person who's sensitive to pain per se. It wasn't so much painful, but as if you had done something repeatedly, the skin, I felt, became used to it. So it's almost a soothing comfort feeling when I'm in there. And again, it might be because we're also having a conversation too. So I'm not so much focused on the actual activity that Makia is doing on the body so much as really what she's putting into my mind, body, and spirit when we're talking. And when we're going through everything. So again, if you don't mind sharing how individuals can come see you. Come see Makia.
Come see me.
Yes. So again, how can they find you? How can they come see you?
So you can find us at HerleneBodyContouring.com. You can find us at Herlene Body on Instagram or Herlene Body Contouring on Facebook. And send me a message. You're able to use the contact us button, and I get the emails and text messages directly to my phone. If you call and I don't answer, it's probably because I'm with the client. But I'll definitely return your call and ask any questions you want. I definitely always tell people I don't like to schedule a separate consultation because I want that to be included as part of your first treatment because I think it works best.
I like that. Okay.
Simply because you're able to see what you want in the beginning, and then when you leave, you can see that your body is different than when you came in.
Okay. Yeah. You never know. I may actually share some of my photos so you can see what the before. Well, I don't know. I might only keep y'all seeing the after. We might only keep seeing the after. I mean, we may see the before, but let me just tell you, the woman before you is so amazing, and I think it just really puts a title on today's message, faith in action, and having faith when you don't even know you have faith, or having an idea when you don't even know the idea is being birthed in you because you're in a place and making those changes. And I always like to give you a Bible verse, so even though I didn't say, I always keep him or her trusty and my pen and my paper, and today we're going to go in the book of Luke. And we're going Luke 3, verse 8 and 9. And they read the following. Produce fruit in keeping with repentance, and do not begin to say to yourselves, we have Abraham as our father. For I tell you that out of these stones God can raise up children for Abraham. 9. The axe is at the root of the trees, and every tree that does not produce good fruit will be cut down and thrown into the fire. And I can tell you this, Makia, please know that there is no axe at your root. And the trees that the seeds you're laying for the trees that are growing, me being one of the trees, you are laying some foundational seeds that go far beyond your hands and the gift that you give everyone. And the testimony that you provide and you're comfortable sharing, I think it's a lot of us. I think a lot of us right now are asking ourselves, where do I go from here? It's a new year. It's a fresh start. I don't like to make resolutions, but I do like to be responsive in what happens next. And that would be something that I would ask for you. What happens now that it is a new year? Where are you going with your relationship with God? What are you going to commit to every day, whether it's not being honest with yourself till you get to a place where everything you've said is honest, or where you get to a place where God's perfect peace and honesty covers you? Only you can answer that. We can't. I want to say thank you so much, Makia, for coming today and being a part of today. As I always say, won't he do it? Ha! Or won't he will? Can't wait to see you all till next time, and can't wait to get Makia back on the show.
Oh, we'll pray about that.
Yes. Have a fantastic day. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Awesome.
Thank you. Yay. Thank you.